Three Israeli government ministers have refused to take part in Sunday's weekly cabinet meeting as divisions grow over the war on Gaza. It comes after Israeli media reported that the war cabinet meeting on Thursday descended into chaos and yelling. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is urging unity, saying they must put everything aside to focus on winning the war. Let's find out more about this with Laura Khan, who's in occupied East Jerusalem for us. So, Laura, do we know who's boycotting the meeting and why?
We do. They are all members of the National Unity Party. They are Benny Gantz, Gadi Eisenkot. Now, he has an important role in the in the war cabinet. He is an observer, but also his son was killed in an explosion in Gaza just last month, and also Chili Tropper. They're citing that they're not going to be discussing essential issues when it comes to the war, so therefore there's no point in them turning up. But it is important to say this comes on the heels of a security cabinet meeting that took place last week, where Benny Gantz jumped to the defense of Israel's chief of staff, the army's chief of staff, Herzel Halevi, after the hard right camp were very unhappy about him conducting an investigation into the army's conduct on October the 7th. So the entire meeting descended into chaos and mudslinging between Israel's top army brass and ministers. And Benny Gantz put all the blame onto Netanyahu, saying he needs to maintain unity at a time during war. And because of his ministers in this cabinet, it all descended into chaos.
And so what has Prime Minister Netanyahu been saying about all this, Laura?
Well, he has reiterated time and time again that they need unity. He's using this word, but he may be preaching more than he's practicing. It is important that he keeps his government intact, and he relies very heavily on the hard right camp in order to keep a majority in the Knesset. They've been using very incendiary language recently. They're calling for the resettlement of Gaza with Israelis and the voluntary emigration of the people inside. So not only this, he's also under a huge amount of pressure. There's been big protests in Tel Aviv and also here in Jerusalem from the captives' families, the captives being held in Gaza. First of all, it was to release the captives. Now they're calling for another election and they're not happy with Netanyahu's conduct during the war. And there was actually a poll by Khan, the Israeli broadcaster, that said many more people would prefer Gantz in power than Netanyahu. So we're certainly seeing some huge cracks in this government.
Laura, thank you for the update. Laura Khan, live there in occupied East Jerusalem.